I loved him.
I'm so sorry. It's so good we can all be together.
I'm glad you're here.
Look, maybe I can pick up some of the slack. I know I can't work the case, but maybe I can make some of the, arrangements.
That'd be great. I'll help you.
I'd appreciate that.
Now, since his grandmother passed, we were the only family he had. He once told me he'd like to be buried next to her.
I went to her funeral with Warwick. She's, buried at the Baptist Cemetery on Eastern.
We're gonna need a key, I guess, to his place.
I've got one. I went over to his place to get him some fresh clothes when he was in custody.
Bork was right about Gedda, and he was right about the department. Let's finish this for him.